When you have a YouTube channel, you have to think outside the box. Thinking outside the box on YouTube isn't about being clever, and it's not about coming up with some wild, never been done before ideas. It's about being intentional. And today, I want to show you 6 ways to think differently about your channel, not because different is trendy, but because what everybody else is doing is probably not working for you anyway. Hey, I'm Dee Dee, and if you've been following the same YouTube advice as everybody else is given and wondering why you're not getting the same results, well, this video is for you, because here's what you need to know. You don't actually need to do exactly what everybody else is doing. I've got 6 topics I'm going to cover today, and I think some of them might be a real eye-opener for you. So I'm just going to get right into it. Number 1, stop copying creators and start copying their outcomes. Most people copy what they see. They watch a successful creator and think, oh gosh, I need to be more like them. So they try to match their energy and their editing style, their upload schedule, their thumbnail aesthetics. But smart creators, they copy why it works, not what it looks like. And here's what I mean. You can't copy somebody else's energy. You've got to copy their clarity. You might watch somebody that's got a lot of energy and you think, I need to be fast-paced and exciting like they are. But that's not why people watch them. They watch them because they get to the point fast and they're clear and simple about it. They explain it simply. That's what you need to copy. The clarity, not the volume or the speed of the video or how fast they talk. You don't copy their schedule either. You copy their consistency. So like somebody that posts on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m., you think, well, I need to post twice a week like that too. But that's not what you need to know. The lesson is that they show it predictably. Maybe for you, that's just once a week on a Saturday. The outcome is that you're copying that reliability, not the specific schedule. You don't copy their thumbnails. You copy the promise that's in the thumbnails. It's easy. It's so easy to look at a bright, pretty thumbnail with big text and bold letters and think that's the secret. But the real reason you clicked and stayed is because it was clear what the video was going to deliver. It wasn't cute. Their thumbnail made a promise and the video followed through on it. That's the outcome you're after. So the next time that you absolutely love a video, don't study the graphics or the setup, what's behind them, or the room around them. Ask yourself, why did I click on this video? What did the thumbnail and title say? And then, what made you keep watching? Even when you thought about clicking away, why did you stay? It was probably not their setup or their background. But what did they actually say? And how did they say it? Was it soft and comforting? And was it clear from the very beginning what they were trying to say? And I can't answer this for you because this is about what you resonate with. And that answer that you come up with, that's what you borrow from them. Number 2, build videos that solve one specific moment. And I know you thought I was going to say problem here, but this is where most creators get stuck. They think in topics instead of moments. They make videos like how to meal prep or best exercises for weight loss and how to budget your money. But if you think outside the box, you're going to think moment-based, not topic-based. So like instead of broad topics, think about the one specific moment that a person's in and that needs your help. And some examples of this would be like, instead of how to meal prep, what about when you open your fridge at 6 p.m. and have nothing ready to cook? Whew, that's a real feeling. And instead of best exercises for weight loss, what about when you haven't worked out in months and you don't know where to start without getting injured? And instead of how to budget your money, what about when you just got paid and you're already stressed about your bills? You see the difference there? The topics were general, but those moments, they're specific. And when you speak to a specific moment in somebody's life, 3 things happen. First, you get return viewers because life has patterns. And if somebody was discouraged last week, they're probably going to be discouraged again next week. And they're going to remember you and they're going to come back because you helped them get through it last time. Second, you're going to get binge watchers because once somebody realizes that you understand their specific situation, they want to see what else you've made for them. And third, you build trust because you're not just giving advice. You're walking alongside them in a real moment that they're experiencing right now. And here's your practical shift. So instead of asking yourself, what should I post about? Ask, what moment am I helping somebody through? This one question will change everything about how you create content. So this next one, it can be a little hard sometimes, but it's number 3. You've got to repeat yourself on purpose. Most creators I know are terrified of repeating their ideas. They think, well, I've already made this video about overcoming fear of being alone. Or I talked about how to make granny squares last month. I can't do that again. But here's your outside the box thinking on this one. New viewers haven't seen all your old videos. Your channel's grown since you made that video 6 weeks or 6 months ago. And most of your current subscribers, they weren't even there then. And they don't all go back and watch. So to them, it's brand new. And returning viewers want reinforcement. They probably didn't absorb everything the first time, and they need to hear it again, maybe in a different context or at a different stage of their journey. Repetition builds authority. When you teach the same core principles consistently, people start to see you as the person for the topic. You're not being repetitive. You're being the expert who knows this inside and out. And I'm going to give you a personal example around this. So my 83-year-old dad is staying at my house this week, and tomorrow's his birthday, so happy birthday, Dad. He's been a minister all of his life, and we were having, one of those deep conversations over our Danish just this morning. And he said that while reading his Bible this week, he really got to wondering why so many things were repeated so many times in the Bible. And I was like, wow, Dad, that's ironic because I'm just making a video today about this very thing. I told him that sometimes people need to hear things multiple times before it sticks in their brain. It's got to be reinforced because repetition is reinforcement. And the Bible is full of stories that repeat just from different people's perspective and different stories. I think God knew what he was doing. And here's how to repeat without being boring. You can teach the same lesson, but maybe a different story running through that lesson. Maybe last time you taught about overcoming ADHD as an adult using your own personal experience. This time, maybe you can use a student success story, or maybe you teach the same advice but at a different stage. So like for me, I taught early on how to make a thumbnail for beginners, but maybe now I can teach how to make a thumbnail for people that have been posting for 6 months. I can be a little more advanced. That's probably a pretty good idea. I should do that one. Or you might teach the same concept, just a different mistake that people make. So like you might have explained why people fail at losing weight, and now you explain the different version of the same mistake that they're making. You're not boring, you're teaching. And good teachers repeat themselves because that's how people actually learn. Okay, number 4 is design your channels for return viewers, not new ones. And I know this is a big mindset shift here, so stick with me. Most creators think it's their job to constantly attract new people. So they design everything for discovery. They have thumbnails that shock and titles that create these curiosity gaps. Content that's broad enough to appeal to a whole lot more people. But here's the outside the box thinking here. Design your channel for people who are already there and who have already found you, because return viewers are worth a whole lot more than the new ones. Return viewers watch longer, they engage more, and they trust you enough to eventually buy from you. So instead of making thumbnails that shock, think thumbnails equals reassurance. Instead of titles that are a little bit too curious and leave some gaps in their brain, think titles that are clear. And ask yourself, would someone feel comfortable clicking on my videos again? And do they know what kind of experience they're going to get? And does my channel look like it belongs to one person with one message? So here's some practical action for you to take right now. Pull up your channel and look at the last 6 thumbnails side by side. Do they look like they belong to the same channel, or do they look like 6 different people are running your channel? Because if I land on your channel and I can't immediately tell what you're about and what kind of content you make, I'm probably not watching. I'm definitely not subscribing. Consistency isn't boring. It's recognizable, and that recognition builds trust. That's branding. And all the big companies do it. So this next one should really help you get clear on thinking outside the box. And that's number 5. Use constraints instead of endless options. This one blew me away when I really got to thinking about it, because constraints create clarity. And that seems counterintuitive, but listen, most creators think artistic freedom is your goal. You want infinite options and different filming setups with different editing styles and different posting schedules and different topics and all the options that we have. But you know what? They're actually paralyzing us. Think about some famous paintings by like Van Gogh or Andy Warhol. They can say they had creative spirit and freedom, but look at them. I mean, really take a look. They're basically the same. The same colors, the same style, they're just different subjects. Being creative takes energy, and the creativity is in the subject, not the colors and the style. So the out-of-the-box thinking here is that creativity thrives in structure. So let me give you a couple of modern day examples here. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Johnny Cash, the man in black. You know what he wore for every single performance for decades? Yep, black. Always black. Was it because he didn't own any other clothes? No, it was a constraint that he chose. And that constraint became his brand, and it became iconic. And people knew exactly what they were getting, and that freed him up to focus entirely on his music and the performance. He wasn't wasting energy every day trying to come up with what he was going to wear. He decided once. And that constraint created one of the most recognizable images in music history. And surely you'll all know this one. Seinfeld, the TV show. Every episode followed the exact same structure. There were 4 storylines that connected all at the end. It was the same format every single time for 9 seasons, and it's considered one of the greatest comedies ever made. The structure didn't limit their creativity, it actually amplified it because they weren't reinventing that format every week. They could focus on all their creative energy on making each story funnier and sharper and better than the one before. That's what constraints do. They don't box you in. They free you up. They let you get outside of the box. So what do constraints actually look like on YouTube? You need the same filming setup. You film in the same spot with the same lighting, same framing every time. Now yes, from time to time, I will film in different parts of the house. But can I tell you, it takes a lot of energy because then I'm moving my camera, I'm moving my lights, I'm having to readjust everything. It's not easy. I'm better off to sit right here and do it the same way every time. Not because I can't do something different, because I can, but because deciding once means I never have to decide again. Even the same thumbnail structure and video format, the hook to the story, teaching, your action steps, and your close every time. Because the structure, that's what creates freedom. You can focus on your content, not that format. The same posting days, you post every Saturday, not Monday and Tuesday one week or Wednesday the next. All of this consistency frees you up to be more creative and think outside the box. And here's your practical tip for this one. Decide once, how do you want to film, how do you want to edit and post? And then stop redeciding. Every time you redecide, you're spending creative energy on logistics instead of content. And your audience, they can feel it, even if they can't like put a name to it. And number 6, think like a business owner earlier than you think you should. This one is practical and it works right now. And it's going to set you apart because most creators wait because they think, well, I'll worry about the business stuff once I'm monetized, or I'll build trust before I mention a product and try to sell anything, or I'll get my bank account set up or my LLC and the taxes after I get monetized. But here's how to think outside the box. Start acting like a business before monetization, because you don't automatically become a business just because you get monetized. Monetization comes because it's a given in a business. You know you're going to make money. So here's what it looks like practically. Start linking those tools that you already use, not because you're getting paid for it, but because it's helpful to somebody. Use affiliate links if they're available, because you're building the habit of connecting value with money. And I did this from day one on my videos. I linked all of my equipment and it's still there, and people click every day. They don't always buy, but they could. And even if they don't buy, they know what I use, and that can help them make an informed decision whether they buy it from me or some other website that may be even cheaper. Mention your community early, even if it's small, and even if it's just you and 5 people in an email list. That's your community. Talk about it like it exists, because it does. I started my community on school before I had probably 200 or 300 subscribers, and I talked about it in my videos, and I put a link in all my descriptions. And now my community is growing faster than ever. And business owners, they teach foundational thinking, not just tactics. They think long term. So they teach people how to think, not just what to do. That positions you as somebody that's building something real. And like me, I'm teaching you how to think like a business, not in every video, but in many of them. I position myself as a businesswoman who knows her stuff and can help you grow a business on YouTube. From the very beginning. You don't have to start and build up to it. Start it in the beginning. And be transparent about your goals. You're not just posting videos for fun. You're building a business. So say that. People respect your honesty. So start that now. Even if you have 47 subscribers and you've only posted 3 videos. The creators who treat their channel like a business from day one, they're the ones that actually build something that lasts. Add your free products in your description. Add a way for people to work with you. Use my description as an example. You can go look at it. Every link in my descriptions were clicked on way before I was monetized on YouTube. I booked coaching calls. I had people downloading my digital products like 100 niche ideas for women over 40 or my YouTube starter guide. I had people on my email list before I ever hit 100 subscribers. And you can do this too. So here's what I want you to take away. Thinking outside the box on YouTube isn't doing something wild or crazy. It's about being intentional. It's about asking, why does this work, instead of what are they doing? It's about solving those moments, not solving topics. It's about repeating yourself on purpose and designing for return viewers. It's about the constraints, not endless options, not analysis paralysis. And it's about thinking like a business owner before you feel ready. You don't need to do what everybody else is doing, and you never did. And if you'd like to know exactly how to start a YouTube channel the right way, just watch this video next, where I show you how to set up your channel for success from day one. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.